Right, morning everybody. So, I just back at that bracket finished on Saturday. I probably could have stayed and finished it, but yeah, you could have spent some time with the family at some point. So I got to do a little bit of welding on that and then clean up and do final blast in the cabinet, and then I'll flick some rust kill on it, and then later on when it's dried a little bit, I'll flick a load of etchant before that's really cured up, just to help it bite in. Because like I said with that CRC, it's weird stuff, but it does a good job of preventing rust. But if you don't coat it within a certain time with something else, it's a bit weird, or you got to give it a really good scuff up. There's something else to stick to it. So yeah, don't ever use it on the outside of a vehicle. Good inside doors and inside, door pillars and all those sorts of things where you can't get back into, and you just want to try and get something in there to stop flash rusting, or there's a bit of corrosion in there and whatever, and you're trying to get it to clean up and it'll blow out and suck out, and then pour a heap of that in there and then flick something else over top of it pretty quick. Yeah, fine, but if on the outside of a vehicle, paint will come off. Anyway, so I'll finish that off, and then I'm going to stop working on the wee tire for probably the rest of the day. I don't know, it just depends on how long it takes me to want to do that Drivesharft tube, so I can get that out of here and get another little bit of money in. So yeah, I think that's planned for today. I want to finish that off, and then that's kind of out of me here. Then I can, at some point, I can finish welding up the bumper and then make the ends. But yeah, what I want to do is get that Drivesharft tube thing built, and then I can carry on from there with the other stuff. Right, so we've got our other bracket sorted. Got that sitting there drying. That's the other one there. So I just had a quickly sort out here and had a quick sweep up. Nothing major, just to get rid of the fucking bits of metal out from underneath the feet. So we've got this Drivesharft tubey thingy here for the Drivesharft for that Dukw to run in, one of them. So I've just drawn a rough picture of this in here with all the things, and then I'll mark the dimensions. As long as I don't have to rebuild this, will be good. That'll give me the positions for the bolt holes, but I've drawn it on here, so I want to know what this measurement is back to that centre of that bolt, and then also total length of it, and plus these measurements to try and get it as well. This here is not going to change, but I want to know what these measurements here are from obviously the other end, and probably from this weld join. This is the weld join that I've drawn in here, because the other piece is like one thing, so I've just drawn it like that. But I want to know what these positions are. Obviously the diameter of this and this. We'll probably have to get the diameter of this after we start cutting it off, hopefully, because it's a bit hard to measure. Like I can probably, yeah. I wonder if I should check with Dad. I think Dad's got a set of dividers. Well, not dividers, but the tool you can slip over to get a decent measurement of something. But it's either that, or I can quickly make something up, to be honest. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, we want that diameter as well as the diameter of this, and a few other things, just to get basic measurements. Obviously we want to know what position this around from here is, and a few other things like that. So yeah, I'm just trying to think. So I might better measure the inside. We've got to get this off anyway to clean this up, but yeah, so we need to know all those sorts of things as much as we possibly can, so when we go to put it back together, we've got as much reference as we can. We'll get into measuring. Righty. You know when all of a sudden there's just something dawns on you, go, hey, dumbass, we've got a plasma cutter. I just so used to use a cutting disc. Just cut shit off. And it was just, because of the rust and how thick the weld and the build-up was on along there, it was just destroying them. And I was like, man, what am I doing? And just get the cutting, just get the frickin' plasma cutter out and just frickin' run down it. But anyway, so we've got this partially cleaned up, I guess you would call it. So we've got all this shit trimmed off. I've still got to get this bit of inner tube out of there. So I'll have to try and grind this back until I can get that bit of crap out of there. And then that'll give us a true measurement for diameter. And whatever. So yeah. So obviously we're just going to clean a bit more shit off this. Get all this scaly shit, and then we'll, I don't know, we'll just give it a fucking good rip up down there, and then we'll just spray some of that rust convert in there. And whatever. Yeah, that should see it right for in the future. If it was a wee bit shorter, I'd throw it in the cabinet and give it a wee blast, but it's not. But geez, I couldn't believe how much shit was packed in there. I actually thought this must have been made reasonably recently, but it's obviously been remade at I don't know, sometime earlier in its life, and then obviously they'd cleaned it up and tried to repair it, or somebody tried to clean it up and repair it in recent times, but they obviously hadn't done that. But it's been I don't know whether it was gas welded or what, hard to tell. Like it could have been done, you know, even the guy, no, because it was packed full of shit. So I was just thinking the guy that had it here in New Zealand, but maybe it might have been done back in the, I don't know, say 60s or 70s or something like that. It was an army vehicle, so I know that guy bought it, that guy that bought it back from New Zealand, it was sometime in the early 90s, late 80s, it was bought here. Somewhere around that time sort of frame. So who knows, like it could have been, it could have been repaired several times through the 60s and 70s, and maybe even in the 80s before it got retired from doing what it was doing, if you know what I mean, in the fresh water. But man, I had some shit packed in there. But anyway, so we'll finish cleaning this up. Now that I've got that shit off there, I should have thought of a fucking plasma cutter for a start off, but I didn't, but that's alright. I'll have to go get some more cutting discs now. Oh, I destroyed heaps of them. Even the thicker one. Just the rusty metal just destroys them. So I've got 3 left, but that's alright. Yeah, so we'll see if we can get that inner piece out of there. I've just got a little edge in there, but I'll have to grind it back a little bit harder. Obviously where it's been welded in there, it's fairly well penetrated. I'll have to probably grind it back just into this a little bit. That's not a matter though. So we can get this bit of shit out of there. It's going to be fun because I'm going to have to try and bust that weld in there too, but if I can get it broken, sort of bent up and whatever, at least I can get rid of it, and then we can get in there and give it a grind up with a die grinder or whatever else later on, and give it a good clean up and see what's going on, and go from there. That'll take a wee bit of fucking doing too. But yeah, well, I think we'll get the rest of this off. That's basically off there. Just got to trim around it a little bit just to bust that last bit of shit off, and then just give it a quick whip over, and we'll give it a quick clean up and treat it, and then yeah, we'll try and get these pieces sorted out, and yeah, just get a final measurement for there. Pretty sure it's 5 inches, and we'll go from there. Right, we're getting there with this. So I found the easiest way was just to grind this edge away with the die grinder. Once I got it down to a certain point and I could start peeling away, I just run around the edge of the die grinder, just to sort of wear that edge away, and then I can break it away. And I did run the grinder around from the other way a little bit, and fortunately it's broken away. I'll have to clean it up when it's finished, when we get it all off, but yeah, I think we'll get it out pretty quickly from here on. I'll run around here with a bit more of the die grinder, around here with a bit more of the die grinder. Take this edge off so it's thin, and we should be able to break that away now. And yeah, then we can do a clean up in here and get a final measurement, and then we can treat what's left of it for rust, you know, because that'll get us down into here too a wee bit, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, we'll better get it sorted and make something out of it anyway. Alright, so we finally got that cleaned up. It's about 20 to 12, believe it or frickin' not. So eventually got that out and cleaned up and ground up and whatever. I'll just flip some of this in here and I'll see up that piece. So now need to sort out some actually we'll have see if we can find a half decent piece of this, just find that looks like it's not too rusty. We'll get a quick measurement on that and we'll just see what gauge it is, see whether we're using 2mm or 1.6 or whatever that works out to be in gauge. 1.6 is 16, 2mm is about whatever it is, 12, 13 or 14 or something like that. Yeah, and then obviously 1mm is about 19, I think, 0.8, which is what I've been using on the old Corolla over there, is like 21 or something stupid. Like it's starting to get pretty thin. That's a pig of a thing to weld on, but whenever we measure, just see if we can find a piece that doesn't look like it's too freaking rotten, and just get a bit of an idea of what thickness this is meant to be, actually. So we'll see what they put in there. We'll see what they use to put in there. That's one thing I need to get to, is I need to get some, what do you call it? Hold on, put the phone down. Sorry, yeah, I really need to get one of those discs that tells you all the different gauges. This is actually only 1mm. It's actually quite light. That other one was heavier. So that's alright. That'll be a damn sight easy to frickin' work with. I've got a brand new sheet of that over there. So we'll measure out some bits and we'll make a test piece for that, and we'll work out what our distance is for that. So it's basically 5" on the inside. I'm just not 100% sure on that, because with me cleaning and grinding up the edges, it shows a little bit different to that, but I think, yeah, it's pretty much that. 5 1/8, somewhere around about there, or yeah, about 100 and it's just a little bit over 5 inches, but I don't know if that's just because there's a bit of a taper on here or not, if you know what I mean. What we'll do is we'll roll a piece and we'll work it out, if you know what I mean, and just see exactly what we need. We'll just make a couple of short pieces, just get an idea what we need for a diameter, and then we can make a bit and obviously make the end. I was gonna, if it was gonna use the 2mm, I was gonna go use the longer rollers, but I think I'll just make a couple of sections, just weld it together. For all it's got to be that length. It goes in here. If I was going to be the heavy gauge, I probably would have just done it in 2 sections. How far does it go in there? About 2 inches. So yeah, we need just slightly over a metre long. So that's 600 and something. So if we make a couple of pieces about 500 or whatever in length, and we'll just join them together. Like I said, if we just slice this, cut a decent section of it down so we can actually sit and give it a decent clean up on the inside, and just make sure there's not too many dents in it. We'll just lay the 2 pieces in there together, you know, and then use a couple of straight edges, and we'll just fucking burn it together. I think it'll just be just as easy than me running around all over the place by the time I've rolled 2 sections and tacked it together and welded it, you know. Well, it would be the same as me frickin', you know, get the piece and running over to somewhere and getting it rolled up and whatever, you know, rolling it through and screwing around and coming back. You know, by the time I've done that, I could have frickin' rolled 2 pieces and, you know, tacked it together as well, you know what I mean? So it's 1 1/2 dozen the other. I think it's just as simple, and then I'm not going and running around it anywhere. Yeah, that'll do. Right, we'll just quickly check the time, and yeah, then we'll drag a sheet out and we'll go from there. Right, I just spied this section. I'm just not sure if it's going to be big enough, wide enough, or not to just at least roll 1 section. It's not quite long enough for both. It comes to about here. From about here, it's just showing it just wasn't freaking like, you know, 6 inches longer. But anyway, I'll have a quick workout from a diameter, and yeah, we'll just see if I think it's big enough, but I'm just not 100% sure, and then we'll chop about a 600 length piece off it, and we might just cut a wee short piece anyway off the end, and we'll just work out what we exactly need so we can trim the bulk of the excess off. And then, because we might even, what I might do is, we'll see, we might just put a little, we'll see, we'll put the seam in the centre there anyway. I think that's the most sensible thing to do, less than the seam's hidden. But yeah, we should be, I think that should be big enough, so you might just lay a bit of tape in here, and that'll give us an idea. We'll do what we did before from the outside, but we'll just do it on the inside of that. And I'm not sure why I didn't buy the one of these with the frickin' MS in it. That's a pain in the ass. Handy thing, but yeah, I frickin' should have got the one with the MS in it. But anyway, we'll lay a bit of tape in here and we'll get a measurement. Right, here's my bit of tape. I didn't put a mark on it, but I just overlapped it. It was overlapped by a little bit. Not sure if that's going to be quite long enough or not. We'll just cut a slither off, and we'll roll it, and we'll just see if it is quite wide enough. So yeah, it's close. It's really close for the right width to make the ring to fit in there. We'll just double check, make sure it's the same width both ends, and yeah, we'll just chop about an inch and a bit off it. Right, we'll cut a hunk off, a bit bigger than I thought, but should be right. We'll roll it through, we'll see what happens. Well, half a frickin' bee's dick frickin' too wide. That's what I'm just thinking. Let me show you here. So almost like it's stupid to cut it off, if you know what I mean. So I think what we might do is just, lay a few tacks along here when we get it made into the tube, and we'll just sit it in here. We'll just sit it in the centre, and then obviously, sit it in there like that. Yeah, I can probably trim it off a little bit, if you know what I mean, because it won't hurt. Which I probably can, because it'll fit in that guillotine, so I can just mark, whisker off the edge, and just butt weld it. Yeah, that'll do. It's freaking spot on. Perfect. Awesome. Right. What am I going to do now? Oh, I think we'll just get into it, I think. Alrighty. Right, there's the first section rolled. It's pretty close. I just need to get something to clamp it together. Probably a big hose clamp or something like that, just so I can clamp it together, and then we need to obviously measure our next section and cut a piece off and whatever. It's a pain in the butt. I actually tried to cut the little piece off the edge, but just the tolerances in that aren't good enough. The old guillotine, it obviously needs shimmed and whatever and trued up. It just like it would cut part way through and then would fold because it was only just like a little 1/4 inch slither off the edge of it to get it almost identically, almost perfect to the right edge. Like I had to cut about that much off that strip, and that's basically where it overlaps and touches. So yeah, just a little bit off the edge of it, but yeah, just wouldn't quite cut it. But so good, we got the first piece basically sorted, and it actually feels like it doesn't feel very strong until you roll it. You know, like that doesn't feel very strong, but when you get a big piece like that, it's actually quite strong. So you know, we'll get the next piece sorted, and then yeah, like we'll get them laid straight. I've got a couple of pieces of that angle iron and whatever, and we'll clamp it all onto that, and we'll just buzz it round. As long as we get a nice square edge, will be sweet. And yeah, and then we can test fit it a couple of times, and then we'll just tack it in a couple of spots together. And we can just make sure it slips in, and we're not too loose or too tight or anything like that. And yeah, we'll make a next section, and then a couple of bits of angle iron to clamp it to hold together, make sure it's nice and straight, and we'll be golden. Righty, about to bugger off for the day. So I've got that made. I haven't fully welded it down the seam yet. Behind here, I just got it test fitting it on here to see where this goes. I might end up having to cut the side of it and put a new piece in there. It's not big enough, because just the way I had to cut it off to freaking try and get all that excess shit off it, the side seemed to be, you know, better. Just with that inner piece, like I can probably weld that on there, you know, and clean that up, or I'll just cut the whole friggin' thing off and make a new one. Might have to in the end. But anyway, so we're that far. What I think I'll do is I'll leave this in the meantime, because it gives me a reference to this, and then we'll start making this piece in the morning and go from there. I've got a line drawn around here so I know when it's kind of square in there. Obviously we can check it from the back side and whatever else, but yeah, we're getting there, I guess. Anyway, well, I actually didn't think I thought I would have had a freaking most of this blown out by the end of the day, but no. I actually took a wee while to get this to sit together, because just the tubes were sort of unevenly oval. So it took a wee while to get it to butt together. There's one wee spot where it's just one area. It must be just very minutely bigger in diameter than the other one. But no, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I probably could have rolled it in one piece, but I was trying to just not frickin' be running around all over the place trying to do it. Yeah, the idea was there, but it's just, it's not going to pull it in like I thought it was. I thought I actually might have gone in a wee bit deeper. If I'd gone a little bit deeper, I think it probably might work, but it's only about half of what I wanted. It's only about half of that depth. It needs to be into here, like that's the full depth. So I thought the jaws were a wee bit deeper than that, if you know what I mean. I thought it, you know, they come in a little bit deeper, which probably would have worked, if you know what I mean, if I could keep getting a grab on it. But I think it's probably just as easy to split it and pinch it in and then just weld it up. I think it's going to be faster. And just, I've actually got I made a couple of rounds like that yesterday. So this is how much it's got to come in. Quite a lot to match up with that. Now the tube, I made these, well this is not one of the nice ones, but I made 4 of these to try and help me to squeeze all those tubes into about the right size, if you know what I mean. Just so I knew that they would fit in the end piece was more my concern yesterday. Like a little bit here and there, it's not going to hurt too much, but it's because it's going to fit in that tube. I made these so I knew that I was at about the right diameter. So yeah, I think that might be the easiest way, is just to pull Marko around here and we'll slice it, and we'll just pull it in the thickness of the cutting disc, and we'll just see what happens. Morning again. So I did that little clip. So we got this dropped off and this dropped off here yesterday while I was in town with the missus, and young fella, he had sports, and then missus had to go get some diabetic frickin' eye injection things. Hopefully we're going to get her diabetes under control so she doesn't have to have any more of these injections. Anyway, so we're going to have to rebuild the bottom of the seat pan. So we're going to remake this bracket, and then repair this, and then put a new piece in here as well on that. Pretty rough hand. So we can fix that. And then this one here, again, it's right in behind here. But the beauty of having this is it actually shows me what that one is actually meant to be like, instead of this thing that was like just welded, and it's like had this massive weld all the way along here and whatever. And this end bracket isn't meant to be part of it, and the end's meant to be open. So we'll re-replicate that and then remake this piece, I think, for that. But this one here, I think what we'll do is I'll probably just cut this through here, just pop these welds off and get this off. And I think all we're going to do is replace some steel in behind here so it's solid again. And we've got this rust falling out of it, because that's all falling out of in that tube. And obviously when we're doing that, we'll have a decent inspection. I don't see any holes anywhere else. I don't see any light screaming through it. It's just the light that's coming through from it and behind here, if you know what I mean. Like, so yeah, at some point we'll have to fix some holes in there. There's quite a few good size holes in here, but hard to show you. But yeah, so I think we'll pick this off and whatever, and get that off, and then obviously we'll use how that's done to remake that one so it's more authentic, instead of being butchered up like it is. Right, so I've got this welded up, cleaned up and dressed up. It's probably the odd pinhole we'll have to just tidy up. But what I did, once I got this close, basically it would almost fit over this, just very slightly slip. I only want like just a touch in there. So what I did is I put it on the end of the anvil and I just went around it with this hammer, just on this edge, just basically just hit, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, and if that, if you know what I mean. Just went round it a couple, 3 or 4 times. And I only just hitting like this, just not hard, but just basically using the weight of the hammer, you know, and probably no higher than that, and just keep turning it on the anvil. Just poked it over the nose of the anvil, and just keep tap, you know, and just keep turning it, and so instead of this being dead tapered in, it come along and then just kicked a little bit, so I can slip this over. It'll just be, I could butt weld it, but if it's just like in there that much, I can just come around there and weld it on, and then we can just blend it in. It's not going to matter much, and we'll line the seams up, and then obviously this here comes up to about here, so I'll start laying these measurements out on this. But basically what I want to do now is just get the tubes parallel to each other. So I'll lay a straight edge on here, we'll look down here, and somehow we'll work out some way of just getting, so I've got a distance down here, and we'll turn it 2 or 3 times. Basically I think what I'll do is I'll tack it on here, and then we'll turn it around. We'll get a measurement, we'll turn it around, and we'll get it the same the other way, 180 degrees, and then we'll tack it, and then we'll turn it 90 to that, you know, and we'll come into here and here, we'll tack it, and then we'll check it in a few spots just to make sure it is really, really close to parallel, or as perfect as we can get it, and then we'll tack it, and then we can, once we burn in 6 tacks or a few more, then we can go ahead and we can map out all our measurements, get that all right, and then we can figure out how far that needs to be on here. I've got this mark in here at the moment, but I know this is slightly longer than what we need, so we may have to trim this back a little bit once we've got everything sort of sorted. But if I hold that up against here, we might be perfect. I think we'll be really close to perfect, but we might be just a hair long. That's something we just need to double check, because if this is sticking out. You know, if we don't need all of this, we can just trim this back. I think it's about spot on, but it could be, you know, it could be just a hair long. That mightn't matter. We'll just see how we get on. But yeah, this is barely in here. Like it's only just in there, if you know what I mean. It's just overlapping enough to whatever. So yeah, we'll get it tacked in a few spots. We'll make sure it's dead parallel, and at least then we can mark everything out, make sure we're happy. We can cut that thing off and get that joint on there as well, and then we can weld this seam a bit better. We'll come along here and weld this up. I haven't done that yet. I was kind of waiting until we go to sit out everything else sorted. We just got it, and then I can come along and burn that in, and then we can obviously get all these other pieces on. Yeah, and then all we're going to do is make that bit, that new backbone piece, and we possibly can cut this off and re-tack that on as well, and clean it up and weld it on. Like this one, or I might just make a new piece, make a new short piece that should bend up, same as what they are, and just use the little plate out of it, and just clean it up and put a couple of welds on it and whatever, and get it in there. So we'll do that. Right, we got that all tacked down on in parallel. Cut this off, so we'll give that a wee clean up. We'll get that ready to weld on at the same time as we weld down here and around here, and then we can obviously get our measurements for these sorted and cut them off and get them welded on. I'm pretty sure they're just, you know, 90, 180 degrees around here, so we'll have to get that reasonably accurate. Yeah. We'll get that sorted, and then I'm going to trim about 3/8 off here, or 10 mil. So that was my original mark, which I marked in for roughly how far, towards the end of it, that went in. But just with obviously measurements and whatever, actually what I need to do is measure from the center, now I'll measure from the end back down to here and just make sure that measurement is accurate with the measurements I've got, and you will go from there. So we want from this point here back to wherever it is. I don't actually technically have that, but I can work it out. Yeah, I've got everything else around it, but I haven't actually measured from here back to here. I've sort of measured all the other in-betweens, but actually I can just do it from here to here, roughly. See if that's close. And then it should be, because that's why I slid the tube up there. It should be fine. we'll just double, triple check it. Make sure we're not freaking making ourselves too short. But yeah, in theory, when I slid that up there and I measured that in from here, it should be the right spot. It should be spot on. Anyway, we'll go do a little boys' room stop, and then yeah, we'll carry on. Right, got that all welded up. Picked up a few pinholes. Just don't want, obviously, water to get through from the outside if he does happen to test it. The old Dukw. I welded that around there, so I'll knock. I'm not too worried about knocking this right down. It's going to be covered. Probably have to knock that down a little bit just so it slips inside. But we'll clean this weld up reasonably well. Won't knock it hard down, but I'll knock it reasonably well down. And yeah, then we're good to go. And then I'll get that prepped and stitch that on. And then we might knock those other pieces off. I need to pick that bolt up that I dropped down there before. And then yeah, and then I think I'll cut that off, that bit. And then we might slip that on there, as long as we've got enough time this morning. So yeah, we should be able to get that on and get those three off, trim this down a little bit, cut that off and get that on there, and we'll tack that on at least anyway. And then we'll have to suss out some material for that to make a new one of those, just since if I hadn't cut it so wonky, I think it'll be nicer just with a new fucking piece on there anyway. This will be able to make it straight. That's got a big banana in it. But at least we know where it needs to be now, so yeah, we'll get into it. Right, so we're almost ready to put that on. I just sprayed some weld through in there. Just like you could kind of get some paint in there, but not really. So just flicked a bit in here. So I've got this here on here. Just make sure that we were mainly, because you can see where that was sitting in here. So I just wanted to make sure that we were still, you know, basically lined up down here, and we are. This thing, man, it's got a hell of a banana. I'm glad I didn't reuse that, to be honest. I don't know whether, for what reason it's got that big massive banana in it. I do not know. I think it just would have been originally pretty flat and straight, but so we'll just wait for that to dry off, and then we can sit that on there, and we can just double check we make sure we're all squarish, and then we can weld that on there, because obviously I don't know if this is 100% square to here from where it was. I think it's pretty close for like using this as a middle on the weld. Looks like I got it pretty close. I just eyeballed it. You know, we got a little bit of to and fro here. You know, we got an inch, well, about an inch or so either way. It's not going to hurt anything, as long as we're lined up here, and you know, it's got a good straight line down there, and it looks right. You know what I mean? So pretty good down there. I think if we mark it, just line it up with those marks, or very close to it, it ain't going to matter a lot. I opened the end of it up like it was originally on the other one, because it was capped off, so it's not meant to be like that. Meant to be open, so I've made it open again, so that'll obviously just stop any water getting trapped in there, obviously, if it does happen to go for a swim. I probably could actually grind a bit more of that shit off where you can see that that end piece isn't meant to be, but we'll just leave it. It'll be alright. It's part of its history. Yeah. Anyway, we can weld that on there shortly, and or at least tack it on, and then we'll go from there. So to get the position, I just wrapped a bit of tape around that of the tube, marked the positions relative to this one, then transferred it on and just measured back here the right distance. In both spots I knew I could get it square, and or close enough to square, and then welded them on. That weld through primer is a good fucking thing, but sometimes it can be a prick. I keep frickin' because it splatters, it welds the frickin' tip on the frickin' end all the time, or the wiring for the end of the tip. If you don't frickin' clean it off in and around where you're welding good enough, if you know what I mean. Like, it's good in underneath the parts, but where you're welding, it can be a bit of a pain. So if you don't get it clean enough, yeah, just weld everything back on to the tip. But anyway, so that's cool. They're on. So yeah, all we'll do is burn that on and then make a piece. So we will go, I'll take a quick couple measurements off that. We'll take that with me over to there and we'll mark that out and lay that out and work out what we need to do. And yeah, and we'll lay out those running boards and shit. And hopefully I've got enough cutting discs, maybe. Maybe. I've got 2 here and I think I've got 1 over there. Meaning to go grab another pile. Yeah, I've only got thick ones left. But anyway, hopefully it's enough to cut out what I need. Or close to it anyway. And then we can work, see if we've got enough time to maybe go get them bent up. Right. Worst comes to worst, I'll just use that thick cutting disc just to finish nicking something off. Or if the worst comes to worst, I'll always use the plasma cutter too.
Myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. This really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come 1 in a dozen, the other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I seek what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really?
Right. So I've got those pieces in the back of the car in the morning, and just welded that round there and on the inside, and I just had a quick tidy up. So yeah, just welded around there, and then just. The weld on the inside's a bit crap, but kind of is what it is. It just zapped it around there reasonably well, just to try and seal the 2 pieces together so there's no water gets in between, but as much as possible, if you know what I mean. I may actually do the inside of this one too at the other end, possibly. Few pinholes and whatever to do, but I might, if I can get in there, I might not be able to get in there and weld it. It's probably, yeah, that's quite a lot shallower and it's bigger, so, oh, you're not sure if it's any bigger or not, but that mightn't be that easy to get in there and weld it. We'll kind of just leave it how it is, if you know what I mean. We'll just make sure we haven't got any other pinholes in there. Right, got my parts bent up. I actually tried to do a little video there and I must have frickin' not pushed the button right. Look at this little, short little weird clip right at the end. It is what it is. Yeah, I only sort of like just filmed for like 10 or 15 seconds, but yeah, I don't know, I must have like screwed up pushing the button at the start or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, got those bits folded up, so that's cool. Yeah, I was going to try and show you the folder that I use. It's made by Metal Master. It's a big heavy one, like I'll do basically 1/4 inch plate or 6mm plate, I think it is. Yeah, it's got a big, like a big arm on the side of it, which you undo a knob and then you change it right down to I think it's like 1mm, or would be like whatever it is, I don't know, like 20 gauge or 18 gauge or whatever it is, and then you can put, it's got a series of like dimples in this arc. It must be for the clamping pressure and whatever else like that, to obviously put a lot more pressure on when you're bending your big heavy plate. But yeah, it'll go right up to, I think it's 6mm, I think, which is basically 1/4 inch or thereabouts, if you know what I mean. So it's got all like, it's got a series of dimples for different thickness panel steel, up to like sort of, it might even go lower than 1mm, can't remember, but it's got a series of things up to about 2mm. It's got like about 3 or 4 positions, and then it's got like 2mm, 3mm, 4mm, 5mm, and 6. So yeah. Anyway, I'll just be waiting on some road works. Right, so I got my bits. So I think the first thing I'll do is set this back up in the vise, and I'll grab my profile tool, and I might just compare notes with this, so we can make it look like that one, and we'll just use this to get our profile to transfer onto this to obviously cut the excess off that we don't need. Yep, don't drop your phone. Right, I'll let her land on my frickin' toe. So I'll get the profile gauge. I might throw that up on here as well. But we'll get this, and we'll know it's got to go up to here. We'll push. Stay. Oh man, it's hard to do one frickin' handed. Anyway, you get the idea. We'll push that in there, we'll get the profile of what we need, and then we'll transfer it to one end, and then we'll do the same with here, and do that as well, and transfer it on the other end, and make it fit, and then we can weld it on, and then I can get back to the crawl. That will fit on there, something like that, but up the other way, basically. Yeah, and we'll try and do kind of the things that's done here in this one. And what I mean by that is this. We'll put this little half round in it, so it kind of mimics the original. So somewhere in here, we'll put a little half round, and then we'll cut obviously the same, just so it looks like it's been there since new. And then you can see how many stitches I put along it. So we'll take a rough measurement of that, and we'll just do that down here. So every, I don't know, whatever that is, 5 or 6 inches. What's that stitch long? So it's about a bit over 1 inch long, 1 1/4 long, and it's about 4 inches apart. So I'll mark that all the way down here. And we'll just go bzz, bzz. And at least then it'll look like how that one was done. And should be golden. So yeah, we'll put the phone down, or throw it on a tripod, and we'll work that out.
Something from nothing. Life lessons come 1 in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come 1 in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours.
Right, well that's that ready. Basically go back and just leave it for a couple of minutes, let it dry. Just flicked another couple of coats of basically etch on it. Just because there's so much brand new steel, I just thought I may as well just flick it, you know, a bit on there the best I can. I just turn it down to a bit of a squirt, just blow it in around there just to give it something. They'll paint it and whatever and all that sort of stuff later on. But yeah, I think we got her. I'll just double triple check it before I take it anywhere. Make sure there isn't any pinholes in it that I can spy, but I'm just giving it a quick wee zap and I can just use some rattle can to flick it on if I have missed anything that I can see. I think I've got everything now, but yeah, that's that done. So yeah, after lunch we will be back on the roller, and then at some point, once we've get this ripped down and frickin' cleaned up and whatever, yeah, then we'll dive back into the other seats and stuff. But at least this here will keep me going on that for another week. Since I've pinched money, well, I haven't really pinched money, but you know, like the time I've spent doing this, now basically the money I'll get from that will go back into that. Like, there'll be a little bit more probably come on that too, but yeah, that's all right. Well, it's all good. I've basically rebuilding these two tubes. There's about 23 airs in them, so you wouldn't think so, but yeah, like it's basically been over half a week worth of fluffing around between the two, so that's cool. That should be just about dry again. This stuff dries pretty quick. It needs another couple of months, but it's just a wee bit sticky on the other side where I've coated the other side. It's cool. Good to go. Oh, we may as well call it here for this video, I guess. So again, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and yeah, more coming on the Corolla later on, and yeah, more on those seats, and then there'll be the running boards as well when I get a chance. I'll probably do them when I finish them, when I start doing those seats and stuff again. I'll, you know, because it's a lot of bits and pieces together, I'll be doing it all in the same area. Just gonna weld those straps in basically and make those little brackets. But yeah, I'll do them as I'm doing that seat and the other tube, muck around on them together, and yeah, might as well get that thing sorted. Alright, thanks for watching. Cheers.